You've not seen Stephanie associated with that women's division and the women's revolution for years now. They did the one pay-per-view, one and done. It was all for Stephanie McMahon PR.
Let's do a sharp pivot into our discussion topic for tonight, and we're going to talk about Becky Lynch and AEW. So AEW, it has a polarizing reaction similar to my good friend over here, Vinny Rue. And there's people who like it, some people who don't like it. There's not a lot of people in the middle. And with that point, one of the things that I'm pretty much in the middle, though. I'm really a rare breed when it comes to a lot of things, and I'm in the middle. There's a lot that I don't like about AEW, honestly. There's some things I do like, but I'm not like, AEW is just the worst thing since, oh goodness, what was that wrestling show? It was that pay-per-view that was just abysmal. It was wrestling. It was like in 2000, and it was like one pay-per-view. I ended up interviewing the guy. I found him. I skipped straight to just found him at his job and interviewed him, like probably about 5 or 6 years ago. Wrestling. Also, Legends of Wrestling. I think it was the Legends of Wrestling. You ever heard of that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it was like in 2000, and it was just like a lot of wrestlers that was just really at their like tail end. And they had Yoko. It was one of Yoko's last matches, and he was like huge at the time. He was like 700-800 pounds, and it was just really, really bad. I don't remember, but Legends, I think it was Legends of Wrestling or something like that. But it was pretty bad. It's not that bad, or it's not as bad as any other really bad promotion. But there's a lot to critique, and one of the things to critique is the women's division. Across the board, there's a lot of people, even who like AEW, who has a lot to say to criticize the women's division. And so before we get to Becky Lynch's thoughts on it, just overall, from even watching Rampage and what you see, you follow AEW via social media and Twitter and things like that. So based on your observation and what you see as far as the women's wrestling division and the commentary on it across the interwebs, what do you pick up from the critiques of women's wrestling in AEW? Okay, so just AEW then. I mean, just AEW first, because Becky Lynch said that.
Bro, I hear
Heroes for Wrestling is what it's called.
Yeah, I mean, I hear the overall feeling that I hear and that I've seen is that it's not that good, and there's a lot to be left. There's a lot to be desired, and I've seen that myself when I watch these shows. But you see, bro, I come from the school of you gotta protect the wrestlers, male or female. You've got to protect them. And bro, if they're green and they're not TV ready, then you don't put them on TV. Yeah. Is it their fault, bro? If they're not ready, they're not ready. Yep. They need more seasoning. They need more reps. They need more wrestling. If they're not ready, they're not ready. You play in the minor leagues until you're ready to play in the major leagues. But if they're not ready and Tony Khan's putting them on primetime television, bro, I'm sorry. I'm not blaming the women for that. If they're in a spot where they're not ready, you should not be exposing them that way. Bro, I was very, very, very protective of talent. I never wanted talent to look bad, ever, bro. And, like I said, I've seen enough of the matches where there's a lot of the women who they're just not ready yet They should not be on television. But that's not their fault, bro. If somebody's going to tell them you got a 10-minute match on TV, absolutely they're going to take that match. 100%. But you need somebody to say, man, they're not TV ready yet.
To your point, Vince, it's like you're in the minor leagues, you're making, $50K a year, right? And someone says, hey, Vince, I know that you've only been playing a couple of years. You're still a little green, but we're going to put you to the majors. You're going to pay for the Yankees, and we're going to bump you up to $300K. You're like, okay, sure. I mean, the money.
Of course you are, bro. So you can't blame them. If they're not ready, they're not ready.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, you're making $300K, you might, be the victim of a lot of news outlets of how bad you are, but you'll still be racking in the money, right. At the end of the day, right. So it looks bad on, the recruit and the team to put you up there. So with that being said, Becky Lynch was a guest on the Drew Garabo Live, and when she was asked if she believes AEW's women's division was making the women WWE step up to their game, this is what she had to say. She said, I wish I could say yes, but unfortunately, I don't think they are represented the way that we are. They don't get as much time as we get, and frankly, they're not as good as we are. We have uncertainty on Raw. We have the best women's division in the world. And I say that without any hesitation in my voice. We have the best women's division in the world. Now, Vince, similar to AEW, WWE's women's division has got a lot of flack too. A very, very bad lack of storylines. You'll see Doudrop 1 week and you'll see her, you won't see her for 8, and then she'll come job in 3 weeks and she'll be gone. Slapping Liv Morgan with Ruby Riott, slapping Shayna Baszler with Natalya. I mean, just a lot of hodgepodge on the fly, it's clear that they didn't spend a lot of time trying to really develop, just very underdeveloped. Vince, your thoughts on Becky Lynch being very adamant that there's a big margin between Raw's women's division or WWE's women's division and AEW's women's
Bro, division. I will tell you this. I was a very, 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 very big advocate for women and women wrestling. And you could talk to, don't talk to the dirt sheet marks. You could talk to any woman that I worked with, and anyone, Mickey James, Tara, you can go on down the line. They will tell you nobody was a bigger fan and advocate for women's wrestling than us, okay? And the reason being, bro, is, Chris, listen, a lot of people talk about racism in wrestling. No, bro, I never witnessed racism in wrestling, Chris. What I witnessed was sexism, without a shadow of a doubt. From day one, bro, the women were second-class citizens. From day one. No doubt about it. And that really upset me because I watched a lot of great female talent working just as hard. Really, really working hard. So I was always an advocate, man. Always. And there were a lot of times, bro, on TNA when the women's matches were the highest rated matches on the show, and the guys didn't want to hear that. Well, too bad. Whether you want to hear it or not, that's a fact. That is a fact. I saw the numbers, and that's a fact. So,
still to this day, one of the greatest TNA feuds, not only just women's feuds, but TNA feuds is Gail Kim and Kong. I mean, that's one of the greatest TNA feuds.
Absolutely. Yeah. But bro, those women had to work so hard for everything that they got because it is sexist. It is sexist to this day. Bro, the whole women's revolution in the WWE, bro, that was PR for Stephanie McMahon. That's all it was. It was positioning for Stephanie. You've not seen Stephanie associated with that women's division and the women's revolution for years now. They did the one pay-per-view, one and done. It was all for Stephanie McMahon PR. Now, I don't like what Becky had to say, bro, because since the women are the redheaded stepchild, and I'm certain they still are, I think it is vital and so important, bro, for the women to stick together and support each other across every single company. I feel that is vital, bro, because the more they can unite, the stronger they're going to be across the board. When you start saying, well, their women's division isn't as good as ours, bro, you're playing right into the hands of the men. That's exactly what they want. And I really find it hard to believe, bro, that Becky Lynch wouldn't understand what I'm saying. I think it is extremely important that they support each other and back up each other. When you start to wear better than you're playing right into the hands of the business. That's why when I heard that comment, I'm like, why are you doing that, man? You need to support your fellow female workers because you guys are second-class citizens, whether you like it or not. When you become pregnant and you want to go home and you want to have a child and you want to be with that child, that is held against you. I am telling you, I've been there. I witnessed it. That is held against you. You need to unite. You need to remain strong. I don't care what company you work for, bro.
Yeah. Good points there. I think it is important for Becky to really represent the woman on a united front. Now, here's my question with that, Vince. If there were media to go around and talk about how much she likes the women's division or an AEW, or that she's rooting for it is not as strong as she wants it to be. She wants competition across the board. She wants it to be very strong. Do you think she would have gotten heat on that from Vince, and the higher ups? If she
bro, because bro, see, that's the thing, bro. That's the thing with being a pro. And a lot of these people today, bro, it's not their fault. They're not trained. There was a way for her to say the politically correct thing, supporting the women without getting heat from Vince. There was an absolute way to say it, bro. And, a professional would know how to say that. But like I said, bro, you see it a lot of times on social media. They're not schooled in PR and giving interviews and what to say if you're asked certain questions. They're going out there on their own. And bro, a lot of times they answer incorrectly, including Tony Khan. When you see Tony Khan answering incorrectly, how can you expect his talent to answer correctly?
I agree with that. One of my degrees is in PR. And so I know all about PR and the importance of PR when it comes to representation of your company. And, there's just knowing the right things to say. You can't unring a bell. You can't fully delete a tweet. You've got to focus on the fact that as soon as you push that publish, as soon as you say those words, if you don't articulate them well enough, if you don't think about them soon enough, if you don't put so much development, or if you don't put so much time and really vein the fact that you won't say something crazy, like, the him and Big Swole, incident that he had, that he wished that he was able to unring that bell, but you can't. That's the thing. Especially the higher the celebrity, the more the critique and the more the spotlight's going to be on you. So you really got to be very, very, very careful when it comes to correct PR. And someone like a Becky Lynch, someone like a Tony Khan, they should know that. They should know that, especially like you said, from a women's wrestling standpoint, knowing that there's some disadvantages, not from a talent perspective, because they're just as good as the men are. But like you said, there's still some backstage, disadvantages that the women have, and I agree with you. It should be a unified front. I agree with that 100%. So, well, what is a unified front, Vince? You, me, guns. Absolutely, man. Or biceps, I should say. I don't,
Yes.
you know, there's so much, there's so many words that you can say on YouTube. That,
Yes.
you know, they'll flag you. So I meant biceps. Bro,
It's
okay,
funny
that's what
because bro, Stevie Ray and myself, you know, we do a show together, and today we were having a good time, you know, talking about Archie Bunker and All in the Family. And, you know, we're having a good time and we're laughing and we're talking about that character and what it was really about and the reason why it was developed. But it's like when the show was over, I'm saying to myself, bro, there are certain words they're going to flag. They're not going to listen to the conversation.
Exactly.
They're not going to hear that me and Stevie were talking about it from an educational point of view. They're going to see these words and,
yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
it is crazy, man.
We live in a super sensitive society, Vince.
Yep.
Super
Yep.
sensitive. Yeah, you can't say you disagree, and you know, if you disagree with something, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, Vince Russo, I can't stand him. Dr. Chris is cringe. Oh my gosh, I can't. I hate him. I hate their guts because they disagree. You know, it's
crazy, man.
Live in a sensitive society. Everybody just needs a hug. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. That's all, bro. Yes.
That's all. This is Vince Russo. I'm Dr. Chris. This is Writing with Russo.